Alright. Okay. So, some of you might be questioning, King, it's not Monday yet. And you're right. But that doesn't mean we're going to stop doing our typical stuff, for one. Two, I just feel like I need to do this. Why? Simple. Because of how much of, especially past me, if I didn't make this video, past young me is going to pop out of somewhere and start murking my ass. So it needs to be done. Okay? When it comes down to it, I just wanted to get this off my chest. So I decided to put it into a video format. Because why not? What could go wrong? So that's the purpose of this video. It's kind of just mostly airing this out. I kind of want to just talk about, because I'm already in my review of Survive, and as well as in a couple of other videos for sure, I've kind of aired out that I have things I wish this franchise would have done, that I have hopes that haven't been realized. You know, like good games that hasn't happened. And honestly, I feel like I've aired out why they've been effing up, how they've been effing it up. I would like to now air out what I wish they would do by now. The things I wish they would have done by now after these more than 20 years. Sorry for the loud noise. That is the piping in this old building. My apologies. When it comes down to it, I think the first thing I want to make clear, the very first thing, is that even though I'm frustrated and I'm sick and tired of them kind of just half-assing it and showing zero care or love, I also at the same time am so tired of them just settling for, here's the money we made. Let's not try to do better. Let's not try to make our games, what they always had the potential of being, which is Game of the Year games. All right, honestly, they have the potential for those types of games. But when you half-ass it and you don't advance at all for more than 20 years, you don't get Game of the Year recommendations even, much less considered for it, ever. And it shows. And I kind of want to air out some things that, now granted, some of these are so effing obvious that these would have helped to a point of being kind of pathetic that schmuck number 2705059er has to tell you that this is something you should have done by now. When in a room of tons of people, alright, the fact I'm the one having to tell you this is something you should have done, that's not good. Get help. Please. But here we are. My hopes, my wants, what Digimon honestly kind of needs is the most obvious answer ever. It needs effort, for the love of God. When I have to tell you this, just mark yourself as a failure and move on with life. Honestly. It's never a good thing if someone who's not all that smart has to tell you you're lacking effort, get your shiz together. Honestly, it's pretty sad. Kind of pathetic and a lot stupid. Alright, when it comes down to it, there is more that Digimon either could benefit from or just outright needs. And we'll start off with the need, since, once again, this is something that's so dumb stupid that me having to tell you is pathetic. But here we are again. This needs to be said. Apparently. Digimon games, on top of needing more effort, need more actual, passion, love, care, a desire to do good. Those are kind of important. And life or death for a game. Duh. The two most obvious things are the things I have to bring up? Really? Really? There should have been some random schmuck in the game development room or even just in the meeting room who probably said that crap and you fired him probably. When in reality, you should have given that guy a pay raise, promotion, if not your job. Honestly. To whoever, if there was ever a person in the meeting room who said, hey, let's put in more effort, let's take as long as we need, and let's also make sure that we put a lot of love, a lot of passion, a lot of fire into this. Wherever you are, you're needed desperately. Because this game's never going to get any better until you finally have your way. That person needs to be put at the forefront because that's the only person talking with any sense or with any idea of how to truly succeed into the future. Into the future! In other words, by firing this guy, your future games have failed. Objectively. I am a Digimon fan, and I cannot compare your game favorably to any other game at all. Not unless I cheat and go with shit from freaking the bunk crap from eons ago. Or, some bunk games in the now. But still, when I compare you to really well known games, if I compare you to the original Last of Us, if I compare you to Skyrim or Oblivion, and you fail, alright, to even so much as be worthy of being spoken of within the vicinity of the ballpark of the place that they may or may not be in, that's a fail. Honestly, I can't view you favorably to even some of your own games, for Christ's sake. I can't even compare you well to your own games. Damn! That's never good. Alright, honestly. When I look at Digimon franchise, I always say that there's only 3 6 out of 10s. And honestly, do I think that's going to change anytime soon? I wish. Probably won't. I've been begging for that to change for 2 decades now. I've given up. I don't have hope. The hope that some people have. Some people, when they see a Digimon game, they somehow can get excited. Me, I'm like, oh dear God, here comes another fuck up. Alright, let's get ready for the disaster. Everybody get your popcorn. Somebody get the recording device. Where are the beers? Where are the beers? It's that. It's not a real excitement moment. It's, oh great, time for another comedy routine. That's how badly they've been effing it up for decades now. Honestly, the only way you can ever classify some games as 7s or 8s is if you have them only in a narrow field of view and you only compare them to Digimon games, and even then, you only specify that these 6 out of 10 games are a 7 or 8 because of them being compared to themselves. But when you actually separate yourself and your bias, and you actually look at them objectively, the facts are is none of them are 7 out of 10. There hasn't been a 7 out of 10 at all. We had a close one. We had a close one. We had one that honestly could have been if it wasn't for the fact it was actually 2 separate games instead of one complete package. That's the key problem, is that if you had merged Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory into a singular game, taking each one's strengths and putting that into a singular game, alright, with a singular focus, with a better story, guess what? There's your 7 out of 10 game. But that's not reality. In reality, these are 2 isolated games, despite having pretty much the same shiz almost across the board, with 2 or 3 differences. And even then, with strange and bafflingly dumb decisions in them. Don't ask. I'm still trying to figure out why they removed side missions, which was the best part of the whole freaking package. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. We don't have a single 7 out of 10 Digimon game. Not one. We came close, but they fumbled by making it two separate games with, I'm going to just cut the crap, with the same damn story arc. You go to the same locations. There's not really anything different. Aside from, instead of a sleuth, I'm a hacker now. I'm a hacker now. Isn't that great? No. No, it's not great. It's stupid. It's completely undercooked, underwhelming, and meh. And the other one is kind of just meh, but has worse ending, and the other one has a better ending, even though that better ending is also pretty crappy. So you have crappy cliffhanger or just crappy period. I guess I'll take crappy. Eh? Honestly, it's kind of a criminal irony is that the things that this game franchise needs the most is a dead even tie between we need more effort in them, we need more actual love and care in this. And so far, we're like what, 0 and 30? How many Digimon games are there? We're like 0 and 30 by now. We have 0 on the board for us, and 30 for stupidity. I, what? After 20 years, you think you'd at least hit one home run by now. You haven't. You haven't hit a single home run after more than 20 years. God. At this rate, I'd almost pay just to bench Bandai and Toei Animations right here and now and make it so they don't freaking make Digimon games anymore at this rate. That's how bad they have been effing this train up. The only thing they've done well is sell plushies, I guess? Hell, I can't even give them the credit of the animation, the actual shows, because honestly, they've been effing that up too. What is safe from you morons? What? Uh, yes, I said it. The shows haven't been very good at all. Don't get me wrong. There are some that are okay. Like, while I hate the pacing, and I think the aging down of the Digitalism was just dumb and meaningless. I do like the modernization that goes on in it, even though I hate the fact that, like I said, pacing is trashed. Overall, power scaling is also just ruined. There is no power scaling anymore. When you bring in Omnimon at episode 3, you have after balance and made the other characters and their Digimon completely worthless. There's a reason I go by Omnimon instead of Omegamon, as his technical name is. The reason is because he's damn omnipotent, the Omnimon. Okay, he can literally wreck everything. He is a glorified destroyer, ass raper, and mecha destruction of death. And you brought that in on episode 3 before bringing in any other Digimon. Do you see the problem here? You brought the omnipotent Mon. In other words, the other Digimon who are all ultimate level locked based off of the show are now all worthless. They were already not exactly great or worth that while by much without the help of plot armor, because honestly, Omega in the show has destroyed and steamrolled Ultimates for funsies a lot. And you're trying to tell me you've brought in Omnimon and you think they now have a worth a damn purpose? You think Biomon's gonna? You think Biomon and her Garudamon level is gonna do shit? Oh god, you stupid as hell. Oh my god. You stupid little dumbass. That's cute. Nah, none of them are going to do shit. They're all now rendered neutered. Spayed and neutered. Damn near have their throats sliced. They're useless. They don't have any purpose in the show now. Oh god. That's basically where this show is at. Honestly, ugh. I mean, that's better than Fusion, which was just trash and damn near a Pokemon vibe, which means that it was so damn kid friendly, it was sickening to watch. Then there's the one that came after that, the stupid app one, which honestly wasn't much better and was so cringe. Like, it was hard just to get myself to watch episode 2. 2. Harder to watch episode 2 than to watch any of the other ones combined. Ouch. Yeah. Mm. No, just no. Now, why am I bringing all this up? Because one thing they need to avoid, like the damn plague itself, like all the plagues themselves, okay? They need to avoid becoming Pokemon. I don't think I should need to say this, but here we are, anyways, where they made a couple different freaking Digimon shows where it was so Pokemon that it was just sickening and hard to watch. When it comes down to it, I don't think I should need to say this, but I'm gonna have to say it. Keep your shiz dark. Keep it gritty. Keep it full of that shiz of like we could die at any moment. Keep that dark tone that you've had for many, many, many ones. All right. Sure, it wasn't all that strong in the first, Adventure one, uh, but it was still there to some extent. Was it there as much as I would have liked? I would have liked it a little darker, personally, but that's just a me thing. When it comes down to it, your video games, honestly, it's one of the best things about Survive, even though Survive is kind of just the same shit we've always gotten. It's more of the same. When it comes down to it, though, Digimon Survive does do dark well. That part we can't deny. It's got more dark and more mature tones, and it works wonderfully for it, and it benefits from it. In fact, honestly, if it wasn't for the mature, darker tone, and for the fact that the actual endings are so good, I probably wouldn't be live streaming it at all if it wasn't for those two things. I wouldn't even be willing to consider it if it wasn't for those two things. So honestly, you need to do more of the dark, more mature. And honestly, in my personal opinion, this is something you guys should have already tried and considered and done by now. And I don't mean in the way that freaking Data Squad was. I don't mean like that. Data Squad has its own F ups that need to be dealt with. That's just fact. When it comes down to it, I wish you guys would age up the Digidestined. Don't ever age them down, because then it just kind of is dumb. It makes no sense. It doesn't really serve an actual purpose. It's just kind of there to be there then. And it makes no damn sense. When it comes down to it, though, I do kind of wish they would age them up. I wish instead of we were finding Digidestined kids, I almost kind of wish we were finding Digidestined adults. Especially since, a huge majority of those who consume Digimon games, who play Digimon games, who watch the shows even for the most part, a mass majority of your overall consumption is not children. Let me just tell you that now. A very huge chunk of those who consume Digimon on a regular, if not daily basis, it ain't kids. I'm sorry, but if you go up to a kid, probably when it comes to video game wise, especially, their answer is definitely not going to be, "Oh, I was playing Digimon Survive." No, you lying little sucker. You probably playing something M-rated at minimum and probably shooting. Let's be real, all right. Mass majority of your player base is not kids. It really isn't. It mass amounts of it is adults. Just that's the way it is. All right, let's just be real. Now, let me just be completely upfront and honest with you. Is this a bad thing that the mass majority is adults? No. The real problem is that they don't market it or design it for that fact. They don't design their games around, okay, we know that a mass majority of our people are adults. So let's make the games, not toddler easy. Let's make them actually got some degree of challenge, if not challenging, or at least have a option where they can make it actually challenging. Like honestly, that's what they should have done already. They should have added in a hard mode, added in these difficulty things that are actually difficult. Not cheap. That's not the same thing as actually difficult. Okay? Now, I'm not an expert in video game development, obviously. Hell, I haven't even started development yet because I'm still waiting around for a better internet provider because they didn't show up on the 17th like I desperately needed them to. But here we are. The thing is, when it comes down to it, they need to be designing their games less around the mindset of how do we make this game so easy a toddler can play it, and more, all right, how do we make this game just difficult enough for the adults who are going to be our mass majority can get some challenge, get some difficulty, get some entertainment out of it, but also make it so it can be adjusted to be easy enough for those who are a bit younger. Because, spoiler alert, you're not going to find kids that are doing Digimon. No. You might find teens, but the thing is, your game is too easy for teens. So they're not going to play your game. Adults, the only reason we're playing that game is because of our nostalgia, which is blinding way too damn many of us. Sadly, it seems like I'm one of two individuals. One of them who doesn't have all that nostalgia, and myself who has too much nostalgia, but is able to resist because I, for some reason, disgustingly and disturbingly, am the only one who can actually be, honest to God, objective about this. Why? I will never understand. I am, for some reason, the only one who's going to call this game as it is, these games as they are. I am alone. I am the only one fighting this battle. But fuck it. I will continue to fight this battle until I am dead and buried and gone from the world. I'm not doing this battle because of a hatred of Digimon. Hell no! Hell the F no! I'm fighting this battle because I love Digimon. Because so much of me still loves Digimon. That's why I'm going to bring up this next point. Alright? I've already brought up now how it needs to darken up. It needs to get a bit darker. It needs to bring in some challenge. It needs to start designing its games more around the adults who are honestly the mass majority of the overall production, of the overall consumption, I should say, of Digimon. I've brought up how it needs more effort. It needs more love and care. Honestly, what it needs now is to stop bunny hopping around different genres at random. It needs to stop doing this. Period. Because honestly, they haven't mastered a single genre because of how much they just bounce around and bunny hop, hoping that their experimentation and their blind freaking go attitude helps. And it doesn't. It makes an underwhelming or undercooked or just meh game. It doesn't lend itself well when their experimentations are so blind, so pointless, so completely irrelevant. Look, experimenting is not a bad thing in itself. It's experimenting blindly with no benefit, with no purpose, with no direction, with no actual ideas on how to make it succeed. That's the problem. I'm not going to go through every single one because honestly, we'd be here way too damn long. But Digimon World 1, Pet Raising Sim. Alright, alright. First game, alright. Digimon World 2, Dungeon Crawler. Wait, what? The fuck? Wait, what? What? Digimon World 3, turn based JRPG. Well, what? Digimon World 4, action RPG. What? Digimon World 5, which is already out, already been made, people. It honest to God, has pretty much already been made. Digimon World Data Squad, in other words. Turn-based RPG. There are some dungeon crawler-esqueness, but very little. Oh, okay. Now let's look at some of their other games that they released. Alright. Digimon Digital Card Battle. That's a card battling game. Okay. Digimon Rumble Arena. Then they made Digimon Rumble Arena 2. Okay. Okay. You at least kept it within the same genre and you made sure it linked up together. And on top of that, you did the smart thing of expanding on what was already there and adding plethora of good content there. Good job. Good job. Then Rumble Arena All Stars, which is just shit. It's literally, even though adding a campaign, a story mode campaign, all right. In spite of adding that, it also offered about half the Digimon of the PS1 Rumble Arena 1. Okay, which means it has maybe a quarter of the overall content that Digimon Rumble Arena 2 had. Yeah. Wow, what a shit game. Okay. There are DSs, and there's plenty of them, and they're, for most part, they try to stay on the same length, but there is some random ones here and there that decided to go and do different things. Okay. Notice a problem here? These games aren't in the exact order I just said them. It goes one, then just a slew of things that are unrelated. One, a slew of things unrelated. Another thing, slew of unrelated things. Over and over and over and over, year after year after year. That's kind of Digimon's biggest problem is they don't actually stick to something, make sure they've mastered it, and then move to something else. No. They just hop around and hope to God something sticks. And nothing sticks, to no surprise. What were you expecting to do different when you did everything the same? You do know what madness is, right? It's the thing I have that apparently you must be suffering from too. And that's kind of the recurring problem here, is that Digimon doesn't master anything. They don't get really good at really anything. They don't actually try much at all. They experiment and experiment and experiment, then do some more experimenting for the experiment that has already been experimented while experimenting. Which helps nothing. In fact, it actually hurts their games. When it should normally be a benefit, it is not. Honestly, my hopes is that they relax with this experimenting crap. I honestly need them to just sit the F down and not bounce around so much. Because they're never going to get better at any aspect of a game if they don't, oh, I don't know, work and develop with the mindset of getting better at this aspect. That's the biggest problem with Digimon Survive is, once again, it is pretty much the same crap we've been getting for decades now. More experimentation, completely blind, with no actual real benefits that are going to be sought after. This is probably going to be it for at least a couple years. Then maybe they'll consider going back to it. But are they going to learn anything from their original game? Hell no. They couldn't be bothered to learn from their other games that came before Survive. You honestly think they're going to do something different now? They haven't been doing anything different for more than 20 years. Honestly, people who are acting like this game is the one that changes everything. I'm not. I need. Okay, I need to know what you're smoking because that's some good shit. I need it clearly. It must be the strongest weed on the block. I need a hit of that. Hand it over. Okay, hand that shit over. Honestly, that's about where I stand. This Digimon games still have not made the improvements needed or the changes needed to actually truly excel or improve or adapt to where they should have been by now. Digimon Survive doesn't show me anything new that isn't what has already been done so many times beyond counting. What Digimon Survive shows me is we haven't learned our lesson, we haven't changed a thing, we're not going to. We're still going to be completely brain dead and tone deaf to what Digimon needs. Digimon Survive, much like every other Digimon game before it, when I compare it, not just to itself, but to games as a whole, when I stop being biased and actually be objective, alright, it has not shown me anything that other games haven't shown me, but done billions of times better. Honestly, Digimon Survive and Digimon games as a whole, I want them to get better. I want them to get better. Especially since, like I said, they have potential to be doing infinitely better than they are or have been doing. And yet here we are instead, where a Digimon game from a Digimon addict isn't viewed with excitement, it's viewed with where's the popcorn and beer. That's not a good thing, okay? When an ex Digimon addict feels no excitement and no joy at a Digimon game being released, and is instead completely convinced and proven right that it's just more of the same disappointment, the same lacking in effort, love, the same lack of giving a crap about making sure you do things right. Honestly, that's where we are when it comes to Digimon as a video game franchise. It's the joke. Honestly, it is the joke, the butt of the joke, as well as the joke itself. It doesn't need to be. It shouldn't be. It doesn't have to be. In fact, in all honesty, with all the potential that is here buried away, being stagnated and stifled and choked to death, we could have had it by now, a 10 out of 10 Digimon game. We could have. If people got their head out of their butt, is the catch. Honestly, I don't think I'll ever understand how people can just blindly, and mind you, completely inaccurately say this game is higher than a 6 or at a 6 even, honestly. Because this is, like I said, in so many ways, the same stuff we've been getting with too little done to actually improve anything. Now, to be fair, is this Hyde's fault? No, not entirely. To be fair to Hyde, they got stiffed, alright? Because they weren't the ones who were leading things or the main development at first. They were a piece of it, and that was it. I can't remember who was supposed to be the actual head development, but then they kind of dropped the ball and said, you know what? Nah, good luck. Now, I don't know the backroom and, internal drama, BS. I don't know that stuff. I'm not going to pretend to know that stuff. So I'm going to put my own comedic spin on it. And by comedic, I mean random and bonkers. My assumption is that it went, yeah, we told you we'd do this project, and we told you we were doing it for a while, but no. And that's it. Granted, again, that's probably not the backroom, the background drama that went around for the game's development, probably. And it's probably just me being a dork. Because, I'm a dork. But when it comes down to it, Hyde didn't have the full development time. Hyde had, I think it was like 2 years. And that's including the delay. They had 2 years, including the delay, to make this game. Now, to be fair, does that allow them to skate by? Does that give them a pity point? No. Never. Are you high? How good is that weed? No. No. It does not give them a pity point. Ever. But, at the same time, it does bring Bandai and the original developer into huge amounts of shadiness and needing to be questioned on what the hell were you two doing. Now, supposedly, I believe it said in an article that Bandai just wanted to change of direction, supposedly. If that's true, then that what shade would have gone to that other development company now just goes solely onto Bandai. And raises the question of, what the fuck are you doing, you idiot? What were you thinking, you moron? Honestly, that's kind of the situation at hand here. Is even though it's not entirely Hyde's fault so far, from what little has been seen, from what articles I've read, it doesn't seem to be all on Hyde. It seems to be about maybe 25% on Hyde, and then a nice 75% or 50%, depending, alright, on Bandai itself, possibly. Honestly, do I think Bandai is going to do better Digimon games? Honestly, no. Why? Because you people keep buying this crap blindly and at full price. Some of you are buying even collector's editions like idiots. Stop it! Digimon games. Okay. Digimon games, much like any other game out there, CODs, Halos, you name a game. Pick any game under the sun. I don't care. Because it doesn't change anything. It doesn't matter which game you pick. Paying money blindly will never fix them. Not in this life, not in the next life, never. It will never fix any game ever. It will only ever make it worse or have it continue on limping and beaten to death. Those are the only two outcomes. Gets worse or limps away. And that's it. There's nothing else. Please stop spending money blindly. Especially since that money is how you get those corporates to shut the hell up and listen to what really needs to be done. Your money, alright, where's my damn wallet? This thing right here, this wallet right here, this thing decides whether or not they'll ever listen to you. Ever. This right here has all the power that anyone could ever want, need, wish, or dream of. When it comes to corporations, this shuts them up. This smacks them awake. This gets them to hear what you have been saying or are saying and gets them to actually pay attention and give a crap. This decides everything. And you are giving it to them blindly like a moron. Stop it. Stop it, love of God. Please. I am begging you here. By keeping this, alright, by keeping this in your damn pocket, you have all the power, all the control you could ever want, need, dream, or ask for when it comes to these corporate tools. You can get them to shut the hell up and listen to what needs to be done. You don't have to send a death threat ever. All you have to do is take this thing and put it in your pocket. Done. Everything has closed down, and I just dropped it. When it comes down to it, your wallet is the thing that they listen to and care the most about. That's the only thing they care about, is getting into your money. Well, guess what? You deny them the money. They now have to listen. Just holding on to your money is billions of time, trillion, damn near infinite, more effective, more worthwhile, more efficient and more effective than any death threat ever could be in any universe. Period. Okay? I need you to understand. A death threat is worthless, meaningless, does nothing, and makes us all look like shit. Putting our wallets and keeping our money, though, guess what? That's effective. That's efficient. That gets them to shut the hell up. That gets them to stop and think, oh, damn, they being serious. Okay, we listening now. Keeping your money is billions of times more effective than any death threat could ever have a wet dream of being. Okay? No death threat will ever match just putting your money into your pocket and then not paying them. It is billions of times more effective and more efficient that way. All right? Money talks, and it talks damn loud as hell. That is even more so for corporations and businesses. No, really. Honestly, if you're a parent out there who's watching this video, my advice to you, first of all, is to teach your kids not to spend money blindly. Don't put them on freaking mobile games or freaking, all right? Do the right thing and bring them to old school first. All right? Granted, my kids are probably going to hate me for that, but screw it. My kids are going to have an edge against some. My kid's going to actually know what the value of effing money is. My kid's going to understand that what gaming has become is gross and disgusting, but entirely the fault of people who give money blindly. My kid's going to know this is the big difference. And honestly, you should be teaching your kid the same. You should be teaching them the value of money. Or at the bare minimum, you should be at least talking to them about stuff that is money related, okay? You should. Honestly, it is something you need to do. If you are a parent, and the reason I use air quotes is because some people are so bad they shouldn't have been parents, period. But it's too late to fix that now. When it comes down to it, honestly, please, I don't care that you are not a gamer yourself. Alright, there are plenty of ways you can teach kids the value of money without having to go necessarily to video games. For me, video games are going to work because I myself is a gamer. My girl, alright, she is a gamer. So odds are pretty high our kid is also going to be a gamer. The odds are so high, it's almost laughable. Even my parents, well, one more than the other, but still, gamers. Alright? I need you all to understand and comprehend this. You don't have to be a gamer to help your gamer child avoid the trapping and the bullshit and the crappiness of modern games. You don't have to be a gamer yourself. You just have to teach them the value of money to save them. Okay? And please do. You don't have to necessarily go as far as like talking about 401ks and investments necessarily. I mean, if you want to go that route, awesome. 2 thumbs up for you. Nice. But at the same time, with that being stated, at the bare minimum, teach them the base value of money or why buying something that isn't actually there is so stupid. Please teach your kid right when it comes to money at the least. Please. This video is far, oh my god, too long. And what's worse off is I even went out of my way to avoid doing or saying things that would have to make me cut anything out of the video this time. And it's already 44 minutes and climbing. Ouchie! Yikes. I hope you all either laughed at me, laughed with me, maybe got some jokes out of, say, my mug, my voice, or maybe how, even though I'm kind of jaded and just sick of Digimon's phoned in BS, maybe got some laughs out of how there's this internal conflict of jaded and hopeful. Maybe? Maybe. I hope to see you all on Monday for for the second airing of the live stream of Digimon Survive. That shall be interesting. Who knows? Maybe this time I'll remember to actually put a link in the Discord channels I'm part of. Maybe. I am forgetful, so it's entirely possible I space it again. Like an idiot. Let's hope not, shall we? I will see you all next time. See ya.